Hi, and welcome to another episode of Catching Up with the Coalition. I'm here with my co-host, Carissa. Say hi, Carissa.
Hi, everyone.
And exciting, we have two guests today. Susie Helm, the communications coordinator for the Coalition, is back with us. And dun, 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 Lindsay White, the youth substance use prevention coordinator for the Coalition, is with us today. So welcome, Lindsay, to your first episode of Catching Up with the Coalition.
Thank you for having me.
And by first, I mean there will be more. That's what
So many more.
So many more. All right, Carissa, what is on our agenda today? Did we get one?
Kind of. Susie brought us an agenda because Susie's far better organized than.
Because she's our communications person. So.
This is just Susie's work in real time. I think we just have a lot of updates. We were just talking about it that it's the end of the month, so a lot of events have happened, and we're kind of gearing up for May and June, which blows my mind. Like, I'm not quite sure how to handle that.
Right.
The idea of summer on the way, but we have some updates for things that are happening at the end of this month and some things happening in May.
Sweet. So I guess we'll hand it over to Susie and get us updated and communicate with us.
I would love to communicate with everybody. That's one of my favorite things to do is communicating.
You are a communicator.
I am a communicator. Yes, are we all?
I think we should be, at least in our line of work.
Right, it's true.
Right.
So first of all, tomorrow, which is Saturday the
Yes.
22nd, the Coalition will be in Williamstown on Spring Street. They are having a Look for the Lorax scavenger hunt to celebrate Earth Day. There will be Loraxes?
Loraxi? I don't know. We were trying to figure that out.
Loraxes?
Loraxes?
There will be multiple versions of the Lorax.
Dr. Seuss didn't prepare us for
Hidden
that
at
one.
participating stores in the downtown Williamstown area. If you meet us up at noon at the Williamstown Community Chest, which is located at 84 Spring Street, that's where you can pick up your stamp card, and then you wander around Williamstown looking for the Lorax, get your card stamped at the different shops, return it back to the Williamstown Community Chest by 2 o'clock, and you will be entered into a raffle to take home your own Lorax. So it should be
We
a lot
should
of
all have
fun.
our own Lorax.
They are
They're very
extremely cute. Yeah.
They are cute. And then also, I believe the City of North Adams and is it Green NA is doing like a community cleanup day tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
Also, which I think you can meet over by Knollfield and
Okay.
pick up some trash. It's Earth Day weekend.
Yeah.
Go do something nice for your community.
So
Pick up
Knoll
some trash.
Field is which field?
What do you mean, which field?
Well, so I do think we use these terms. Like someone said, no, that's fine. I just someone said the other day, like the old Kmart parking lot, and I was like, I didn't live here when there was a Kmart. So Knoll Field is
I
the one.
consider the Knollfield Athletic Complex where the Unity Skate Park is, the
Right.
splash pad is, then there's that field that I'm assuming is Knollfield, and then DeSanti Field is
Further
away,
down,
and then there's Joe Wolf Field.
So
flanking
probably
it to
in
the
that
left.
parking lot right there
So
for
in
the
that park, I
playground.
think there's a meeting
Okay.
there. What is also coming up? Next week we have some health and wellness events. Jesse is joining Josh Fredette, who leads a group called the Gravity Slayas Youth Mountain Biking Team.
Such a good name.
Such a good name.
Such a good name.
It's spelled great too. So they're going to be at the Unity Skate Park. It is Tuesday from 4 to 6. It is free to attend and you don't have to register, but we do have a registration link on our website where they just get some more information about you, what your skill levels are, your age, if you need a bike, if you need any safety equipment, and they will bring some with them. But they're going to be talking about bike skills and
It's so cool.
how to ride properly, how to wear your safety gear properly. It should be fun and it's nice weather for it.
Yeah.
It's gonna be beautiful all
Then
weekend.
at the end of the week on Friday,
I was just like, it's so nice.
it is. I'm such a warm weather girl. This is my jam. I love it so
It's your
much.
Texan coming
It's
out.
the Texan. It's living many, many years in Texas. So at the end of the week on Friday from 10 a.m. to noon at the Uno Community Center, Jen Munoz will be leading our annual spring gardening workshop,
Okay.
which talks about things you can grow yourselves, herbs and flowers and vegetables, but also how you can get involved in community gardening, which starting soon we have a weekly community gardening group that meets up every Saturday. I forget what time, maybe 10 a.m.?
I don't remember.
9:30 a.m. But it's free, it's fun to get involved in. We have a lot of community gardens that are free to the community to respectfully take the bounty and share it and tend to the gardens.
Yes, so if you don't live near Uno,
Yeah, they're-
Jen has other gardens across the city that folks can use and be a part of
Yep.
by contacting Jen. So
Yeah, and if you call us, we can give you the contact.
yeah, we
for
can
Jen.
get you there.
And then in May, for health and wellness, the downtown bike round is back. So every Monday after the bike collective meets, which is from 3:30 to 5:30 at the Armory in the back by the garage, they will now also start the bike round again, which is like a weekly community bike ride. It's really simple, easy, low impact, just a quick downtown loop. It takes about 30 minutes. Every Monday, as long as the weather is nice, come out and join. And it's about learning to ride safely, sharing the streets with cars.
Yes, stay
Which
off
we
the
all-
sidewalk. If
Yeah.
you ride a
Sidewalk.
bike, stay off the sidewalk.
I am guilty of that, I will admit.
Oh no!
I know. I feel safer. There's also going to be some community bike trail rides back on the Ashwiltacook Trail.
Ashwiltacook.
I'm not even gonna try.
We'll get there.
You can find those on our website, and also if you give us a call, which the number's on the screen, we'll tell you about that. And then there's going to be a yoga in Colgrove Park on the 18th of next month from 4 to 6. And then the Mayor's Fitness Challenge starts.
Right. So
We
like,
won't go into that too much. But
no, but if you're gearing up for the Mayor's Fitness Challenge, some of these activities would be fun things to do
Yeah.
to get
Yeah.
yourself
Get
in that
yourself ready.
mode. Because Jesse's calendar and the mayor, like they packed it. There's something
They weren't playing this year.
every day
Yeah.
to do for the Mayor's Fitness Challenge. So that's coming in June. We'll
Yep.
talk about that next month.
Okay, great.
Maybe we'll make Jesse come next month.
Yeah.
I think
We're
that's a
gonna.
great- maybe you can get them for Jesse to come.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
We shouldn't disclose that to the audience, though. I don't want them to have high expectations.
I will say we will then do that show on roller skates and with a unicycle.
I could bring my roller skates.
I only said
I
it
could
because
teach you
Susie's
some
sitting
tricks.
here.
I do love roller
I'll
skating.
scoot around while telling y'all what's going on.
And do you guys want to know about the family resource parenting stuff coming up?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, great.
Absolutely.
Then I will keep on going.
Yes, we love
Starting next week on Wednesday, we have a collaborative with an organization called Women's Money Matters, and that's going to be a 12-week program. It's geared towards women and women identifying people that would like to have a better grip on managing their finances. Each person is partnered with their own coach, their peer coach. There's lots of presenters. It's 12 weeks starting next week. 6 to 7:30 at the Uno Community Center. You do need to register for that, so give us a call if you want to register. And it sounds like it's going to be really good.
I have a question. Is there an income requirement?
I don't believe so.
No.
That's a great question.
Cool.
Which is a really good point to make, that like
Yeah.
no assumptions about whether you have or don't have money. We all sort of need the skills to learn how to manage what we have, no matter
Yeah.
how much it is. So
It's very true.
it's a good question. but
Around
yeah.
groceries, around everything, utilities, all of it.
Yeah.
So important.
So we're excited about it. I know there's a handful of people signed up for it, but I
there?
think there's some space. Yeah.
Great.
But
Yeah.
that's good. And then in May, we have a continuing workshop. We have Magic 123 and more Magic 123, which is discipline, skills, and ideas for your children ages 2 to 12. So that'll run for 6 weeks starting at the beginning of May. And All Babies Cry. If you did not know that, it's still true. All babies cry. We will be running that at the end of May on the 25th from 10 to 11:30 a.m. And it is strategies for comforting your baby. It's mostly geared towards expecting parents, but I'm sure
Even brand new parents.
even brand new parents.
I feel like it's the thing you know, but you don't realize how impactful. And like one of the
Indeed.
strengthening families philosophies is that parenting is part learned and part natural. And so there's this idea that some people are naturally good at it. I was not one of those people
Yeah.
that was just like naturally good at like comforting a baby. So like I think it's super valuable to have programs like this, because if you are like, this is your first kid, or the last one wasn't so great, here's an opportunity to change that experience for you and for your baby. And they're really good. Like it's
Yeah.
a really good program. So
coping, like you can never have enough coping skills for dealing
No.
with a crying baby. I think.
especially if you get a colicky
I can't
baby.
imagine.
I had my first.
I had a colicky one.
My first just cried for the first 6 months of life. That's what
Yeah.
he did. That's what I thought babies did. And
Wow.
he's amazing, and I love him. But the first
Yeah.
6 months were rough. Everybody was like, "Your baby just cries."
So
Yeah.
does the class teach you what different cries mean?
I think it does talk about how
Yeah.
your baby's trying to communicate to you, what it can, what different cries can mean.
How to like sort of run through. I actually took this class and I feel bad because I'm like, I should remember, but I don't.
It's been a while since your kids were babies.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Seth is going to be 17 and he was
Yeah,
my last
okay.
one. But I remembered like having the conversation about like, try this, because this is like a primary reason why kiddos cry. And if that doesn't work, then you try this. And there's lots of things to try to go through. And then it's sort of like, when it's none of those things, just look at yourself. Maybe you're anxious and that's causing that. You know, and I was like, oh, you mean I can do that? And Gabe's like, what? Yeah, no, it's a good class. It's a really important one, so cool.
Yeah.
We got tons of stuff going on.
Yeah, and I'm going to hand it over to Carissa now.
Back over to Carissa.
Back over to me. So I do have a couple of updates, and I am looking at Susie's sheet, despite the fact that I only have 2 updates. So don't worry, so 2 things. One of them is something I announce every year, but I always love to let people and remind people of, is our team writing workshop group is having their final showcase of the year. It is May 17th. From 5 to 7, and we will be at the NORAD Mill again, which I'm super excited about because that space is absolutely beautiful. If you have not seen that mill space, highly recommend looking at it. It's a really, really big group this year, which I'm excited about. I think we'll have a total of like 22 young people reading,
wow.
which is like
That's a lot.
We just got two new young people last week.
That's great.
So it's like, oh, there's so many people now. It's going to be awesome. Please come and support them.
It's free.
It's free. Like it's 5 to 7 at night. It's a great way to spend your Wednesday night, just hearing some really cool poetry and stories. I was given permission to share this little secret, but one of our young people is writing a story where the audience will get to choose what part they read next.
Ooh,
Yeah.
fun.
They are working on a choose your own adventure. Yes, yes.
Cool.
They are working on a
That's super
choose your own
fun.
adventure story. So they have written out the possible endings for the entire story, either path that the audience chooses. So how the format usually works.
That's some work. Like, kudos to that youth.
I know. I was like, wouldn't that be, I was like,
Snaps.
what do you think of this? And they were like, I love that. So how our showcases typically work is they'll read at the beginning of the night, and then we'll give them a little break, and then people can read again. So this young person is going to read the story at the first half, ask the audience to pick the path for part 2, and then the audience will choose. So in the second half, they'll finish the story with the audience, which is fabulous. I'm really, really looking forward to that because it's going to be a lot of fun. They're new to the program too, which is awesome. And the other thing I have to announce is, I don't know if I've mentioned the conference before, which is interesting. I'm just realizing that, but there's something called the Live Out Loud LGBTQAIP+ Conference of the Berkshires. It happens every year in partnership with so many lovely community organizations, 18 Degrees, Berkshire Coalition for Suicide Prevention, us, BCC, MCLA. We switch off every year holding the conference. This year the conference is April 29th. It's a week away, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know what day of the week
April
it is.
29th, Saturday.
Saturday, April 29th, from 11 to 3 at MCLA this year.
Yep.
The conference is totally free. We do ask people to pre-register just because we are providing breakfast and lunch, so it just helps us know catering-wise how much to have. The conference is going to be a lot of fun. So the typical format of the conference is there'll be some workshops. We have a couple of workshops as well as a panel discussion this year, which is going to be great. There'll be a breakout space just for young people, which will be really cool. That's held by some folks at Miss Halls, some folks at 18 Degrees. The MCLA QSU is going to hold some space. They're just going to do icebreakers, kind of get to know one another, which is awesome. Berkshire Health Systems is going to have a discussion at the conference today to talk about how people are accessing healthcare, kind of their experiences with the health systems in terms of their identity, what experiences they've had, good, bad, or indifferent, just how they're getting access to healthcare. There'll be something called the Trans Clothing Exchange, which they are a group of folks that take donated clothes and they have them accessible for people who want and need more gender-affirming clothes, which is super neat. And then there'll be a bunch of community resources tabling, which I'm really excited about.
That's a ton,
So
yeah.
I think we're at
17, you said?
17 community resources will be tabling. Tapestry Health, DCF, the North Island Public Library, Roots Teen Center, whole host of community
The Freeman,
organizations.
There's like a ton, yeah.
Yeah, we tried to kind of pick a breadth of the community to kind of represent the full community. So those folks will be just there tabling, showing what they got going on, any summer events, any resources they have. I believe Berkshire Health Systems will have a table there to talk about some cancer screenings they have coming up, some other really important healthcare things coming up, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
April 29th.
April 29th.
Free.
I want people to be there. It's going to be so
great.
much fun.
I really, every time we do our show, and I know it's mostly just art stuff, I get to the point where I'm like, Please don't ever say the words, there's nothing to do here. Like, there's not enough time to do all of the things, so, which is awesome. It means our community is active and doing things, so it's cool. I don't really have a ton of announcements. I'm more in the space of save the date. We have
exciting.
Our last forum of the year is going to be May 11th.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. So
Yeah.
May 11th.
Susie's got all the
Changed on
dates
your
in her
thing.
head.
Okay. And then after that is our annual meeting. And that's Friday, June 16th from 11:30 to 1:30 at Greylock Works. It's a heck of a good time.
much fun.
It is so much fun.
fun. It's
We're
beautiful
really
space.
excited this year because this year there's been so much talk in the last couple of years about diversity and equity and inclusion. And I think many times our conversations end in the same place, which is when we know each other's story, it becomes so much easier to be a part of that community. And so we're telling a story. We're telling our story, and we're highlighting the story of our guest keynote speaker, who shall be named at some point, but not today.
Okay.
I'm not going to do that today.
No, you gotta watch next time.
And then
Yeah,
folks
stay
who
tuned.
come are also going to participate in
Yes.
a special way about telling stories. So one of the really cool things too is that the coalition has archived electronically all of our photos from 30 plus years. And so we have them, and what we're gonna do is give them back to the community. So if you were part of our story and you might have a photo with us, or someone you know has a photo with us, which is really fun when we've hired staff that went through our youth programs and they
Pretty
found
amazing.
their photos and all of
So
the people
cool.
they know, but they're gonna be at the annual meeting, available for people to take with them. We would like to reshare the stories and the memories. So
There's lots of great photos. Like
Yeah,
I go
it's
through
gonna be a
them
lot
and
of
then I
fun.
like send little snapshots to all my friends. Like, look, there's baby you. There's
right,
baby
or
this
like, do
person.
you want to know what Sister Natalie Kane wore in
Right.
1987?
We
Because
have
you
a
will
photo
find
of
that
that.
out.
We have many photos of that.
What Al Bashefkin looked like before he went gray. Also photos. Mustache was still great though. Still had the great mustache.
Oh, of
So,
course.
Yeah. So that'll be fun. So that's coming. All that to say, we don't want to forget about you though.
No.
So lots of stuff going on. Join us, be there, and Lindsay.
Yes.
So you're new to us. What did we just get to your 3 months?
Yeah, I think I'm right.
Ta-da!
I'm so close to my 90 days.
This was your 90-day surprise.
Surprise!
you,
We're throwing
thank
you
you.
your 90-day party
You got to be here on public access.
Thank you for joining,
We're celebrating you.
sharing this moment.
What's exciting about having you, from certainly my end of things, is that I think most organizations have struggled over the last couple of years hiring and finding right people and sort of kicking off the work again. And you were that for us when it came to prevention. And so over the years, life and the world had changed sort of the things that we had been doing around substance use, and prevention got a bit on the back burner. Because there were other things to pay attention to and that were really important. However, you have sort of rekindled that and been like, no, let's bring it forward. But I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about what it's been like and sort of the learning curve that you've gotten to experience.
Sure. So I think the learning curve in this community has been really interesting because prevention work has been done for like the last 37 years. And it's really unique because the people here, I think, have taken the initiative to like be part of these programs at MBCC. And I think that makes it a lot easier when you're talking about prevention, or else it's going to get siloed out. And the recovery world, or like supply reduction with the DEA, is going to, dominate the narrative. When and I think going back to the learning curve, it's like constantly going back to how can you prevent early initiation be in first time use. And Boston University did a study and found that people 12 to 20 rank number 6 in the nation for binge drinking in the past 30 days.
Wow. Huh.
Yeah, so on like a macro level, I think that shares a narrative about the state we live in. But locally, it's really unique because although our youth are above the national norm, we do have some downward trends in marijuana, in cigarette use. I think really our biggest obstacle to prevent the youth from future health problems and lifelong addictions is going to be tackling like the e-cigarette and alcohol that's accessible, that's marketed like soda pop drinks, those like
Seltzer.
stuff
You
like
know.
that.
Healthier versions of what your mom and dad used to drink.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that's, and the tool that we use to measure that is the Prevention Needs Assessment, which May 11th, Tim Schiebler and I will be presenting on the PNA assessment. So please join us at Terra Nova. 4 to 6.
Yeah.
Thank you, Susie.
I think it is interesting, and I think you and I had this conversation, and we've certainly had it as a staff, is that there is a bit of a misconception when it comes to prevention work, in that, and we don't want to, pick on poor Nancy Reagan, but there's this idea that we would all just walk around saying, just say no, like
Right.
that's prevention. And it's really not. It's that initiation, it's about delaying it as long as possible.
Yeah.
It's about real conversations.
Right.
Like, from a youth worker perspective, right? Like, kids will laugh at the DARE stuff, right? Like, and that's
Right.
no shade, no shame to DARE programs. I'm sure it worked for a lot of kids, but young people can kind of see through things in a way that I think we kind of forget with young people, is that they can see through stuff. They can see when things feel inauthentic and feel fake, which is why we need to have real conversations with young people,
Right.
like real honest conversations, and don't sugarcoat the issues, right? Like, what was it? You said 12?
12 to 20.
12 to 20 age, like binge drinking, 12 or like that's young. That's like really young, and we don't talk about the truth of like the health side effects later on, like what it does to your brain, what it does to your body, what it does to
Right.
like, when I was 16, I was not thinking about what my body would feel like at 30.
Sure.
Now that I'm on the cusp of 30, I'm thinking about what my body feels like at 30, right?
Right.
Like,
You should also start thinking about what your body's going to feel like at 60.
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So it's these conversations that we're not having with everyone too, with
Right.
the community members, these honest conversations about prevention work. I also think, and I don't know how you feel about it, Lindsay, but prevention work happens all through stages of life.
Right.
Right? Like, it's not just that 12 through 20, which is
Yep.
critical and really, really scary to hear those numbers, but it's that like 25 to 35, right? It's like all these different notch points of life that need preventative work too.
Right, and I think that's really interesting because when you do hit the legal age to consume a legal substance, you kind of get this like free card that you can purchase, buy, and consume at a rate that is unchecked. Like when you're younger, I think it's harder to access, but when you do, you overconsume.
Yeah.
So I think that conversation, like with parents and talking about that, it's like, when do you drink? Is it socially, like, is it acceptable for our family to bring it to our family, like to drink for Thanksgiving when we know Uncle Tom has a drinking issue and there's 6 new children in the family? Like, do we need that?
Well, and I
Having
think what
those
you're highlighting
conversations.
is that part of the conversation that while DARE and some of those other programs, and I remember DARE when I was a kid, and it totally worked. Like, I still remember the frying egg, and I had no desire in my brain.
Yeah, the
Like,
Truth Project.
Right?
did
Like,
them.
and so there was also this idea that alcohol was not what they were telling me was going to make my brain fry, right?
Right.
Heroin.
It was
Right.
crack and heroin, right?
Right.
So,
Yeah.
so for my generation, I think we sort of drew these lines of like, well, we can do these things, but
not
not
these
those
things.
things because
100%.
right. And
Yeah.
so it worked in some ways and not in others. What we don't talk about though are those risk and protective factors.
Right,
What
right.
are the things about how I grew up that either put me at risk or protect me from using in the moment when I'm 12 and the alcohol is in front of me? What puts me at risk of picking up the bottle and drinking it, or picking up, a joint and smoking it, or whatever that is, a vaping tool. What do you call them?
Oh,
Pens.
Pens.
Thank you.
yeah.
No, but you know the lingo. I had just forgotten.
Vape
Cartridge?
cartridge. I don't.
Or what are the things
Right.
that when I look at those and they're accessible, I say,
Yeah.
no, not for me. I don't need that right now.
Right.
And those things do exist for our kids. We
Right.
just, how do we highlight the good ones that keep our kids protected? And then
Yeah.
how do we sort of work on the things? And adult consumption, we just don't realize how important we are to the conversation when we consume, overconsume, or constantly. What was the stat during COVID? Do you remember with Pittsfield being like it led
Oh,
the
yeah.
nation?
I think it was pretty bad, but I don't.
And I
remember
don't think
the
it
stat.
was
I have to
just
look it up.
Pittsfield, so
It
I'm not
wasn't. I think you
not
were-
picking on Pittsfield. I think it was like Berkshire County,
Yeah,
but
sure.
we like led the nation in the number of social media posts about alcohol during the pandemic. Whoa.
Wow.
We gotta think about that. What is our community culture telling our young folks? Like
Right.
it's cool, it's okay. So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so I think that there's a lot for our community to get involved with to hit those protective factors and to address the risk factors. And Tim and I will basically be going over all of that on May 11th.
Yeah, we don't want to give it all.
Don't want to give you
Yeah,
all,
yeah.
all the details.
It's really interesting.
We want to see your faces in
Yes.
person.
Yeah, like, and there's going to be the use of Mentimeter. So if folks aren't familiar with that, there'll be the electronic tools. And the coalition actually was lucky enough to have some funding. We've invested in iPads to help for folks who maybe don't use phones or, carry their phone on them. Good for you. Some of us wish we could be you. But we'll have those there so other people can participate regardless of what they brought with them. So we're down to the final thoughts.
Final thoughts.
Everybody gets to have their final thoughts today.
My final thought. You know what? It's going to be, the weather is beautiful. Go outside this weekend or the upcoming few days and do something nice for yourself. April is still National Poetry. This is what I'm going to do. April is National Poetry
There
Month.
it is. There it is.
So if
Final
you're not a
thoughts.
poetry writer, go and write a poem this weekend. Have fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the weather. This weather is fantastic. I love summer. It's my favorite.
Wear some sunblock.
Wear a sunblock, pick up some trash, get outside, start your gardens, and in the mornings, early before work, if you're ever near the North Adams basketball courts, come roller skate with me.
There you go.
I'm out there all the time.
I'll beep
Always
when I
happy
go
to have more
by.
people.
That's awesome.
Final thought?
My final thought is it's so nice to meet you all virtually. And
This is
sharing
like
this
old
moment with
school
me.
Zoom public access.
And I look forward to doing community work with you and sharing prevention in this space.
Sweet. My final thoughts. We are moving past some of the really strict COVID restrictions and things like that, and they have impacted us, and I'm just gonna challenge our community to get back out there and get involved. There's so much going on. Show up, be present, be a part of it. It's what makes it meaningful and better. And so, and if you wanna know how, call that number. We will give you 8 million ways to get involved and to be somewhere. So thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next month.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.
That's okay, Gabby. Ending right there.